campaign to build awareness around the fact that for many, prescribed medications can do more harm than good. When we talk about prescribed harm, we are not talking about prescription drug abuse, although our community does suffer massively from this too. When we talk about prescribed harm, we are talking about those who are harmed by taking their medications exactly as prescribed. It's really hard to imagine the enormity of how many people are suffering from prescribed harm. There are people like Stephen who get caught out with a list of side effects such as suicidal thoughts and akathisia. They begin to become visibly worse, but instead of looking to the meds, it's written off as worsening anxiety or depression, and they are given more drugs, which unfortunately only adds fuel to the fire. There are also people who have tried to stop their meds and have been thrown into crippling withdrawals, which completely debilitates them and can lead to suicide too. And we're not just talking about antidepressants here. We're talking about benzodiazepines, anti-anxiety meds, tablets to quit smoking, acne medication, hair loss drugs, and even antibiotics. Some drugs can even cause complete erectile dysfunction after taking one pill, never to return. This in itself can lead to depression and suicide. There are also lots of people who unfortunately never make the association between their deteriorating health and their prescriptions. Since we launched Stephen's Voice, we have been contacted by hundreds and hundreds of people locally and all over the world. One lady actually thanked us for saving her life. She had been put on antidepressants shortly after having a baby and suddenly turned suicidal, agitated and restless, and had strong urges to end her life. She said that only for her husband reading Stephen's story, it just all clicked. She was able to stop the meds and all the extreme side effects just faded away. Prescribed harm awareness is all about educating people and opening up the conversations around the drugs we take. Prescribed harm awareness is not an anti-medication movement or a dig at the doctors either. We want doctors to get behind and support the idea of prescribed harm awareness. Our main aim is ultimately safer prescribing. The core problem is that the process for safety and effectiveness testing is left to drug manufacturers who have a vested interest in seeing positive results, without the medical and scientific community being able to scrutinise what they are doing. I'm sure you all have seen it in the news this week about the massive systematic review that took place, revealing that there is no scientific evidence that depression is caused by low serotonin levels. What many probably don't realise is that the chemical imbalance theory was used as a powerful marketing tool by pharmaceutical companies to simply sell more drugs. We have been sold a lie, and so have our doctors. We feel like we're up against the beast here. We are trying to make positive changes, but the whole system is so corrupt, we know it will be a long road. But what we can do easily right now is raise awareness to educate others, encourage people to look at side effects of all medications, weigh up the benefits versus risks to them, and empower people to have better conversations with their doctors. The prescribed harm community is massive and unfortunately growing every day. Our suicide rates are skyrocketing. The link between prescribed harm and suicide must be taken seriously. Ignoring the correlation is unacceptable. It's time for truth, time for transparency, and time for change. We are so humbled to report that joining us today are walkers in England, Wales, South Africa, Australia and California. That's what we know of so far. So please get online after this and post, tweet, snap your pics with hashtags prescribed harm awareness so we can all unite as one. Before we walk back, we would like to take a minute's silence to reflect and remember all those who have lost their lives to medication-induced suicide and all those harmed by prescription drugs.